and welcome to Speed Feed. This is where we talk about the latest in the news and trending topics. This is for you. If you want to know everything that's happening around you and what you need to know in the news and trending topics, what's getting the conversation going, then you, my friend, are at the right place. You can follow the stories that we are doing here on the Speed Feed to see everything that we're going to be talking about. I'll be telling you about someone, a heroic person, like the biggest hero of a story I have ever read in this country, and that's a heartwarming story. I'll be telling you about that. Also, we'll be exploring some of the biggest topics today, including the BBI that's coming up in a bit. But let's talk about what's making news today, what's driving the conversation. And of course, we have to talk about Kenyans.co.ke. Today, we released the annual list of top 100 politicians. This is a list that ranks politicians according to their performance and impact in politics and public service in the last 1 year. And people have been talking about it. It's trending on Twitter right now. People are reacting to it. Did you see your local leader or your senator, your governor, your MP in that list? Do you agree with it? Yeah, tell us in the comment section here, and also don't forget to let us know where you're watching us from, because we're live on Facebook. But now we also spoke to people on the streets to get their reactions towards this year's top 100 politicians list, and here's what they had to say.
Corona iliharibu kila kitu, sasa hakuna hata mtu naweza sema alifanya kitu. Kusema ukweli hakuna.
Nimekubaliana nyinyi, lakini iko mahali kuko na fail kidogo hapa.
Kivuta Kibwana, according to what I read, he has performed. Nyang' Nyong'o is a liar. He is my governor.
Without not fearing, others are self-obtainers.
Kwa hiyo corona ilistota kuna mtu amejaribu kitu hapo.
Mimi naona huyu Wycliffe Oparanya ametengeneza Kakamega vizuri sana na anajali maslahi ya watu wake.
Hapo naona ni Raila Amolo Odinga.
Saa hii mwanasiasa wa kwanza ni huyu ambaye anaitwa Raila.
The person who deserve, according to me, is Wycliffe Oparanya to be in position even one, if possible.
Charity Ngilu, I will work with her. Muhisa Kitui, if he would like to be the president of this country, I'd really vote for him.
They look on their own behalf. They don't consider the other partners.
Watu wengi usema pia Mutua amejaribu kwa kwake. Hao ndio Joho amejaribu. Kwanza wakati wa corona amesaidia watu sana.
Lakini hata Uhuru amesaidia watu sana. Kama unaona wamama wajawazito hawalipi hospitali.
Uhuru namweka tiki. William Ruto kwa upande wa kuunganisha hakuwaunganisha. Hapo nampea 45.
Uhuru naye unajua sasa ni president wetu, tumempenda, lakini sasa tamu yake imeisha. Tuweka hata hapo baba asaidia afuatane na Ruto, alafu na Kivuta Kibwana, Wycliffe Oparanya na hata na Musalia.
Hapa Nairobi naona huyu mbunge wa Dagoretti amejaribu Simba Arati.
Wilson Sosion ndani sawa. Ana Waiguru sawa. Irungu Katana Kangata. Huyu ni wapi? Hassan Joho. Huyo ni kando. Hussein Joho safi. Hiyo ni mchujo. Ole Charity Ngilu ndani sawa. Huyu ni Olelengo hapana. Sawa.
Asante sana.
Well, that's that's just thoughts from some Kenyans were reacting to the list. You love the gentleman who were just like, "Uyu toa badi amefanya hivi." Yeah. Now, this is what you can do. Join the conversation on Twitter right now, and tell us if you who you feel should have been on the list, how you feel about your politician or your local leader being on the list. How have they performed in the last 1 year, especially in this year that has been ravaged by the pandemic? It's very important that you go on and talk about it and let them know what you think about what they have been doing in the last 1 year. Use the hashtag Top 100 Politicians KE 2021. All right. Now, let's talk about other stories. And this is a sad one for all journalists, because veteran journalist, editor, and columnist with The Nation, Philip Ocheng, died last evening at his home in Migori. And his family says that he died of pneumonia, and he is such an iconic figure in Kenya. He was mourned by many people, including Raila Odinga, who says that Kenya has lost a veteran journalist and a legendary columnist. And he has had so much impact in the media. I remember reading his column, especially the one where he used to talk about grammar and, correct even other journalists' English. It was really... he was such an iconic figure, and he was 83 years old. And of course, our condolences from here at Kenyans.co.ke to his family and friends. Now, let's talk about the other big story. Since yesterday, everybody's been talking about it. It's the nomination of Justice Martha Koome to be the next Chief Justice by the JSC. Yes, her nomination was forwarded to the president, and she will also be vetted by Parliament, and if successful, she will make history by being Kenya's first female Chief Justice. This is her day. This is her year. This is her moment. She's been a big topic of conversation since yesterday, and now we're watching for the next step. As the president appoints her, and she will be vetted by Parliament, and if successful, she will become the first female Chief Justice. And this is now the biggest story today, and it's happening now. And as we go on, there's a live session that's going on in Parliament. So Parliament is discussing the BBI, and it's so important because this parliamentary sessions will determine whether we go for a referendum. And the session started at around 10 a.m. in the morning, and MPs have been expressing themselves on the BBI. There are two issues that have already been raised about the BBI. One is about the creation of 70 new constituencies, and the other one is how the BBI proposes to abolish the vetting of CSs and PSs before they get into office. Those are two issues that MPs have raised so far. The other one is the division of revenue, which is if you were watching the sessions in the morning, the MPs were discussing that, and the leader of majority, Amos Kimunya, at some point told the MPs, they have to stop talking about some of the issues that Parliament has already resolved in the past, especially the division of revenue bill and other things that are in the BBI. They're not discussing the contents, and they want to pass the document as fast as they can. Of course, the proponents of the BBI want the document to pass within the shortest time possible, because time is running out. They have to go for a referendum by June, and this is very important to watch. You can watch the live sessions here on Facebook. If you're watching here on Facebook, it's still unfolding, and we just want to see how MPs will be reacting to this. But meanwhile, even as both houses discussed the BBI bill, ODM sent out a statement yesterday directing all its members to pass the BBI bill in its entirety. The message was from the party's chair, John Buddy, who mentioned that although not everyone was happy or satisfied by all the propositions in the BBI, the good of the BBI outweighs the bad, and therefore ODM will support the bill, and so all its members should align themselves accordingly. So this is a big story. It's still unfolding, and you can follow it here on Kenyans.co.ke. On Facebook, we'll have it live, and also on our website with the latest analysis of this session in Parliament. Now, in other news, this one happened yesterday. President Uhuru stopped his motorcade for almost an hour to answer a call from British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. And in the call, the two talked about the Global Education Summit, which the UK and Kenya will co-host in July. So the Global Education Summit will seek to raise $5 billion that will be used to help children around the world transition back to school, because children have lost a year of schooling, and they continue to lose even now here in Kenya because of the pandemic. So they'll be seeking to raise that money that will go to help children transition back to school. In case you're wondering why the president stopped his motorcade while where he was going. He was going to Arathi House to launch the National Land Information Management System, or Arathi SASA. Or now you can get it at arathisasa.go.ke, and he went to launch it together with Land CS Farida Karane. So this is a digital lands record system that was launched at the Nairobi Lands Registry, and all their records have now gone on a digital system. And the Ministry of Land says that the system will also be rolled out in other parts of the country by the end of 2022, so that all land records are available on a digital system. And other news that you need to know, we have a third governor who has been impeached because 36 out of 46 MCAs at the Wajir County Assembly voted to impeach Wajir County Governor Mohamed Abdi on grounds of abuse of office and gross misconduct. So the governor was also accused of irregularly ceding powers to his wife, and he has also been in and out of court for almost 2 years in his tenure, fighting a case that was challenging his academic qualifications. And MCAs have said that him not being there has slowed down a lot of county projects, and hence the impeachment on those grounds. And this one is in case you were looking for a new job. So the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA. This one always gets me. I don't know why it always gets me. EPRA. So EPRA is looking for a new Director General after the controversial exit of its previous Director General, Pivas Oimeke, who was arrested for soliciting bribes from a petrol station in Oyugis so that it can be reopened. And just a point to note that Pivas is also running for Bonchari. Yeah, it's a Bonchari constituency as MP in the by-election. But meanwhile, at EPRA, where he exited as a Director General, the applications for the position of Director General at EPRA are now open, and they will be closed on May 12th. So if you're qualified, go ahead and apply. I like the way I plug y'all with jobs on this show. Yesterday, I plugged y'all with a job at IEBC. Some of you didn't know that there was a commission. There was a panel that was formed to interview new commissioners at the IEBC. That's a big job in government, and this is another one. Just throw it out there. Throw it out there. You never know. Go out there and apply. But meanwhile, the Kenya Human Rights Commission has issued a statement. This is a statement they put out condemning the recent incidents of evictions in Embu and Nairobi. And the incidents that they were referring to is one where last weekend police oversaw the eviction of over 5,000 residents from 10 villages in Embu. And in an incident where the area MP and journalists who were covering that eviction were arrested and harassed by police. And now the human rights body has called for the government to stop any evictions during the pandemic which have left families, inclusive of women and children, homeless. They say it is punitive for the government to be evicting people while we are facing a pandemic. And this is a story that has got a lot of people talking and angry. So the Ministry of Health they say that the Ministry of Health released ARVs that were phased out and banned from use in Kenya because of the adverse side effects they have on HIV patients. And according to a story by Nation, there's a drug called Nevirapine that was banned by the Ministry of Health in 2019 because of its side effects, but it was released in the batch that was flagged off last Thursday. As remember when we did that story of ARVs being released so that HIV patients who've been suffering for the last few months, because there was also another consignment that had ARVs that had been stopped at the port. Now they say that the ministry released some of the ARVs that they had banned from use, and this has got a lot of Kenyans angry, and it adds on to the conversation about how the ARVs were stuck at the port and they were not released for months, and HIV patients across the country have been suffering because the ARVs have not been available for a while. Let me take a sip of water. Now, I want to shout out to all people who are watching live on Facebook right now. Thank you so much for those of you who are engaging us on Facebook. I will be reading your comments in a few, but I just want to, go through some of the news that you need to know today. What is setting the agenda, what people are talking about across the interwebs and the news, and also we're just going to talk about a trending topic yesterday that happened yesterday. And so let me just continue. But I see all of your comments on Facebook. I'm gonna come and read them. Don't worry. Keep commenting. I'm gonna come and read them. But we have to talk about Ben Githai. Did you guys watch Ben Githai yesterday on Jalango show? If you did not, there's a moment in the show where that has got people talking. He narrated the story of the Tano Tena song. You know, the song that has now got Kenyans reflecting on the 2017 general elections, and you know, looking at the mirror and thinking how we clowned in 2017. And he said that he was given lots of money, an envelope for making the song. It was not requested by the Jubilee Party campaign team, but after he released it, so he went to studio after hearing the songs that were released. Remember that song? Nasa, Nasa. Nasa, Nasa. So he had that song and he went to studio and released Tano Tena. And it became a huge hit on the Jubilee side, even though it was not requested by the Jubilee campaign team. But after it was released, he says he was invited to State House Nakuru and he got something from the Jubilee team. You know, he was given money in a bahasha, which was a lot. He alienda kuihesabia huko mbele. Just go watch the interview on Jalango's YouTube. It's quite, you know, it's quite profound. You know, talked about a lot of things. For those of you who've been throwing stones at Ben Githai because of making that song, now if you haven't watched that interview, yeah, go watch it. But that's one of the moments from the interview that stood out, and you know, it's gotten people talking, especially on Facebook, by the way. And now, in other news that you need to know, this one is politics. UDA and Jubilee, they have put out notices to their members inviting them to apply for tickets to vie for the Kiambaa by-election. And this is going to be an interesting race. You know, for the first time, Jubilee and the UDA will be you know, going at it in Central Kenya. In fact, this is I find it quite interesting because member of that is for men. For youth, women, and people with disabilities, it's 20,000 shillings. If you want to run for MP, the ticket costs you 50,000 shillings, and there is even an M-Pesa pay bill there where you're supposed to pay. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to watch, especially because of also yesterday the update I gave you that there are two members of the same family. The wife of the former MP, Paul Koinange, will be running, and also her sister-in-law will also be running for the same seat. It's going to be an interesting one to watch. And here's a story that I promised to tell you guys of my hero, the hero of today. So this one happened on the Eldoret Highway. So there's a motorist who averted a disastrous road accident on the Eldoret Highway after he jumped into an oil tanker that had lost control because the driver of the tanker had lost consciousness. So the oil tanker rammed into a few vehicles after losing control because the driver was asleep. But then one motorist went out of their car, ran and jumped into that oil tanker and stopped it before there was any fire. There's no video to this, so I just imagine that story, because witnesses say that oil or fuel from the tanker had already started leaking, and if this motorist wouldn't have stopped that tanker, it would have burst into flames. And you know what happened at it's called Sachangwan, yeah? That is a disaster that was averted by this brave hero. We should look for this person, and you know, they should be given a head of state commendation, because that was really brave. Because in such moments, people think about themselves. I want you, like, I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm saying, like, if you were involved in such an accident, or if you were in a position where an accident is about to happen, most people just think about saving themselves at that moment. But this guy was like, I'm going to stop that lorry and save so many lives, which is really commendable. And other stories that are making news today, The Communications Authority has ordered Mount Kenya TV to close down for 4 weeks because of airing inappropriate content on a children's program. The Communications Authority has also raised issues with the station's compliance and has ordered them to resolve them in the next 30 days. And their staff are also they have also been ordered to go through mandatory training on the programming code within the next 7 days. So some of the stories that are happening right now. What's setting the conversation on Twitter? Mount Kenya TV is trending right now because of that story I just told you. Other unsponsored tags, conversations right now. The ARV story I told you right now because of those ARVs that were flagged off by the Ministry of Health, but they had been banned before because of their side effects. That's a conversation that's happening right now. Also, there's another story from Kilimani where police arrested 2 people with fake currencies, in up to 750 million shillings. And you can guess where it happened. It's Kilimani, so I don't know if you should be surprised. But they have seized millions in fake currency. In fact, 750 million shillings in fake currencies. What else are people talking about right now as we speak? Pray for India is trending because of the situation in India. It's really bad and it's really worrying to see what's happening in India. Now, shall I read your comments on Facebook? Dam is saying Kenyan Batman original story because of the guy who jumped off into an oil tanker and prevented it from bursting into flames. He is such a hero. Brian is saying impeachment season is back. I wonder something like we too close to the next election to be impeaching people who are already in office anyway. But since this is the 3rd governor to be impeached, in case you're wondering, it's Wajir governor who has been impeached, in case you're joining us now. Ian is asking, kwani Uhuru alisimamisha motorcade aongee kwa phone booth? Don't get the logic. Yeah, it's like, he stopped the motorcade because it's an important call, when someone calls you and you're in a noisy place, it's an important call. Maybe una expect dough, and you're in town. You just get into a restaurant and you stop and you take your call. So the president stopped his motorcade for 45 minutes to talk to British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Thank you so much for your comments. Let me see. Other people, Jay is saying he wanted to apply for the IBC position once. His qualification is that he once oversaw a class monitor election from 3. You oversaw your class prefect elections. Is this a qualification? Yes. You go ye and apply. Yeah. Don't let it stop you. And there was also another story about the qualifications of Justice Martha Koome. People brought up her transcripts from university and she did not get a first class honors, and people are asking, what does that have to do with her competencies? Because she has had over 30 years of experience right now. Yeah, so go apply. Jay, go ahead and apply for that job. Yeah. Anyway, that was in setting the agenda today, what people are talking about. Also, get on Twitter right now and continue with the conversations on our list of top 100 politicians for the year 2021. Use the hashtag top 100 politicians KE 2021. That's the hashtag that we're using. It's trending right now on Twitter. People are reacting to their politicians being in the list or not being in the list, and who you think deserve to be higher up in that list. Go and talk about it on Twitter. Go ye and express yourselves. But anyway, that is what is setting the conversation today. We'll be back tomorrow on Speed Feed, always talking about the latest in news and trending topics. My name is Kimani Mbongwa. Goodbye.